I Was a Teenage Slasher seems less about constructing a cast of characters and structuring an intriguing mystery, and more about giving voice to a person, in this case, Tolly Driver. While writing this, were you ever surprised by anything Tolly said or did?
I wasn't as surprised as I have been with other books, but that's just because Tolly, of everyone I've wrote, he is one of the very closest to who I am. Probably more me than the Stephen Graham Jones in Growing Up Dead in Texas, I suspect. I tried to make Tolly different by making him be 5'9" and not into sports, because when I was his age, I was 6'3", 6'4", and I was all about basketball. I lived for basketball. And so I thought, if he's going to have my thoughts, maybe I can make him a different person if he doesn't play basketball. But I don't think that worked very well. I think he is still me. He just happens to be a few inches shorter.
He also doesn't really know much about horror films and slasher films in particular.
No,
That's more his friend Amber's interest there.
it is, yeah. And to tell you the truth, when I was 17, I couldn't have told you what Sam Raimi directed as opposed to what John Carpenter directed. I didn't have the slasher trivia in my head. We didn't have IMDb yet. I couldn't look stuff up. I think I was still in that space as an audience member where it seemed like these movies just kind of came off the mount. Like I didn't think that they were made; they just existed. And yeah, I inhaled a lot of horror back then, but I didn't know any of the trivia.
Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th series certainly has a tragic origin story, but is Tolly Driver the most tragic slasher in slasher history?
Man, he's the one so far, I think, that we're the most in his head, and so we understand his predicament very well. But if I was going to say the most tragic, I might go with Marty from Slaughter High. He's kind of pranked in the chemistry lab, and it goes really south. But there's also that kid in Terror Train. He's pranked to go into a bedroom to meet a girl, but it turns out that these medical students who are pranking him have snuck a corpse into the bed, and so he is traumatized beyond trauma.
Oh,
And
oh wow.
then he comes back and kills everybody.
Wow, it's like Porky's meets Reanimator or something. Oh
That's right.
geez.
It's bad. Like when an entitled crowd comes for someone less fortunate than themselves, that like triggers the need for extreme justice, I feel like, and that's kind of why the slasher exists.
I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones in bookstores everywhere July 16.